black theatre company Tiata Fahodzi, which means Theatre of the Emancipated, is one of the most innovative theatre companies in the UK. It's best known for critically acclaimed productions like The Gods Are Not to Blame, The Estate and The First Wife, and in 2010 it was co-nominated for an Olivier Award. Well, joining me on the show is Lucian Msamati, the artistic director of Tiata Fahodzi, who is on the show to discuss his two current productions, The Legend of Hamba and the epic adventure of Namo, the Manyika warrior, and his sexy wife, Chipo. I hope I've got that right. Wow, what a title.
Perfect.
What's that one about? Tell me a bit about them both.
Well, The Legend of Hamba is effectively our take on the morality tale, the everyman morality tale. And it is a story that follows the character Hamba from birth through to his adolescence, through to the judgment in his life, and over the course, I mean, he's a mythical spirit character, and so we see him at war, we see him building empires, and then we see him standing before the judgment of all things.
Right.
Yes, the epic adventure of Namo, the Manyika warrior, and his sexy wife Chipo is as nuts as it sounds. It is satirical. It's fun, silly, happy, poking fun at sort of entertainment archetypes and stereotypes when it comes to portrayal of Africans and the African story, if you like. And
because, yeah, you've described it as a very sort of southern African type of comedy. I mean, what do you mean by that?
Well, it's unpretentious. It makes no bones about what it is saying. It also invites the audience to be very much a part of the action. There's audience participation, and it very much thrives on the idea that we are complicit in this game of make-believe, and we're going to enjoy the fact that we are complicit in it, and you're going to come along with us as we wink and nudge at you from across the way there.
This is interesting because this is something I was talking about with one of our earlier guests from the Cirque du Soleil, because obviously that show travels across the world, and he was saying that it really sort of crosses cultural boundaries very easily. Everyone enjoys that kind of show. Would you say that's the case then of this kind of show? If it does have that sort of African humour comedy, do you think it still goes across the
It is entirely universal. I think people will watch this and completely get where we're coming from, because when it comes down to it, every story is essentially universal and human and reaches out to a wide and varied audience. I think sometimes when you've got a long title with long and very interesting words, people sometimes take a few steps back. But in actual fact, come on in, dive in, it's going to be lots of fun.
Well, that title makes me want to come, I have to say. Yeah, it's a great title. This is, of course, you know, yet another production for Tiata Fahodzi, Theatre of the Emancipated. Just tell me a bit about the idea behind the company.
Well, the company was set up in 1997 by Femi Elafoju Jr. And it really came from a desire not just to fly the flag, as it were, but to just be able to tell stories as artists from a particular cultural background that reached out to a wide-ranging audience. Because very often what happens is that we unfortunately work in an industry where boxes have to be ticked. And so sometimes it is your persuasion that is seen first before the story. And the existence of companies like Tiata Fahodzi was really about going, oh no, actually there are these great stories, there are these great pieces of theatre that we wish to share with a wider audience. And I think over the past, nearly 16, 17 years that the company has been in existence, that has borne out in the fact that the company has remained popular, the work has been very well received, and we're still here. I'm still here. I've managed to keep things afloat. I haven't sunk the ship yet.
Quite the opposite, doing a great job. So what's the scene like then for sort of British African actors? Who are the big names to watch?
Well, that's a big one. I would be remiss if I did not mention the four fantastic actors we have in the epic adventure. We have got the lovely Aniwa Buachi, we've got Stefan Adegbola, we've got Mr. Everell Walsh, and of course the beautiful, talented, six-packed and dreadlocked Eri Nzaramba, who plays our hero, Namo. I mean, there are other great performers, people like Sibusiso Mamba. There is Dipo Agbolo Agbaje, a very famous playwright, Bola Agbaje as well, who we have had the pleasure of commissioning as a company and whose work we have produced. So the list could go on and on and on, but I'm not going to mention myself. No. Because that would be rude.
Well, indeed. Because you do everything, it seems. You know, you're directing this one, you also act in it, and you've acted in a lot of other very successful series on television, for example, #1 Ladies Detective Agency, which I absolutely loved. You began your career in Zimbabwe. I'm interested about that. Tell me a bit about how you began.
Well, you know, I mean, for all that has been written about Zimbabwe, we were very blessed with a very thriving and very good education system, which had a lot of emphasis not only on the academic side of things, but on the extracurricular side of things. And so right from primary school, there were always festivals, there were always drama clubs, and towards the end of high school and the beginning of university, I got together with a group of very dear friends, and we formed our own theatre company, Over the Edge, which was our sort of young, youthful, rebellious way of going, well, actually, no, there are things we want to talk about. Coincidentally, the formation of the company had more than a little to do with the changing fortunes politically.
Indeed, and is that sort of part of your success, do you think, that kind of having that political edge? Did that make your satire more biting, more... I
would say so, but we were also very keen not to sort of position ourselves as artists first. That was the most important thing, and to quote or misquote the great Miriam Makeba, as I can always do. You know, if we write and perform things that we see every day, and if people choose to see those things as political, well, there's nothing that we can do about it. And, you know, at that time, when you get up, you go to school, university, work, whatever, and people lining up for fuel, well, you're going to talk about it. You know, you're going to make jokes about it. And that was, I suppose, is what gave us an edge, as you said.
Yeah. Actually, in the last remaining moments that remain to us, we have something in common, I have to tell you, because you brought your shows from Zimbabwe to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, I understand, in 2001, where I was performing too, so perhaps we passed each other.
See, I sensed there was something there.
We had a link there. Just remind us briefly then, where can people see the new productions?
Well, we are going to be, Namo is returning to London, and that will be at the CLF Cafe, that's at the Bussey Building in Peckham, from the 6th to the 13th. We then go on to Birmingham, but we will also be bringing The Legend of Hamba to the Greenwich and Docklands Festival. Plenty of opportunities. Indeed. Okay, thank you very much, Lucian Msamati. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Good luck with it.